What's up, y'all? This is Dreams, episode 2. It's with one of my boys from way back, Mr. Brian McKnight Jr. Obviously, music is in this man's blood, but I'm gonna let him tell his story. I always get that one mixed up. But anyhow, yeah, let's hear what he's got to say. He's gonna jump on with us, and this is Dreams. If you're just joining us, this is episode 2, but this is about the stories of people that make their livelihood doing music, people that pursue music as a passion. And what I'm trying to hit on is those moments in their lives that make them pursue music even more. Like, we get these chances where music says, hey, I'm knocking on your door, are you listening? And usually those things turn out to be almost like a nudge, like, of course you're thirsty, grab some water. There's just, the way musicians do it is we bring it in from the outside. So it's automatically in the air. We're just trying to capture it in the moment that it is. So make sure you check us out. It's going to be me and Brian McKnight Jr. here very soon. My man Brian McKnight Jr. is on today. We started out with a buddy of mine named Danny, a drummer. And Brian here is a singer-songwriter, piano player, musician, producer, mix master, whatever you need in music, this is your go-to guy. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to hear his story about how music has been a driving force in his life all the way to today, why he still does it. So, what's up, man?
Man, you already know, man.
Right?
As, one of my biggest musical influences.
Nah,
no,
that's too kind. That's too kind.
But yeah, my man said, I'm Brian McKnight Jr., singer-songwriter extraordinaire. Kind of always what I've done and felt like I needed to do, among other things. But this is definitely it, man. Father, storyteller, leader. Hopefully future humanitarian. So that's where I'm at with it.
Heck yeah, man.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thanks to be here with me, man. Digitally, right?
For sure. Now that you've introduced yourself, what are you doing today currently that is musical in your life other than writing? Are you producing any artists? Are you, singing at church? You making some money here and there? Or, doing shows? What are you doing?
Man, honestly, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. Outside of my own personal projects as Brian McKnight Jr., Nico and I, as Broken Robots, our rock band, have put together 2 new EPs that I'm really excited about, man. That's really on the rock scene. And then in terms of producing and writing for other people, man, for the last maybe 8 or 9 months, I've been working with producers from all over, whether it's just been to sing and songwrite or to top line or just to consult in any way that I can, whether it be mixing and mastering. So in and through that, man, I've really found myself in a much more kind of CEO managerial type mindset, in my day-to-day, to where I'm begging Nico to drop his music. I've got 2 or 3 of my best friends who I really believe in, who are MCs that I'm cultivating projects on. My sister Bree, man, is by far, my favorite person to work with. I think she reminds me a lot of myself, man, those days when we were doing funky nights and all that in my room. She's begging me, man, to make music. It's crazy. And then my mom, man, I finally have a me, man. I'm really thankful to kind of be in this position, even through the madness of being able to kind of freelance, make money, keep that coming in, and be able to handle things. So I'm grateful, man. Yeah.
Right on.
It's a good time.
I know you grew up in a very musical family. It's in my blood. What were some of those moments in your life where music first hit you? Like, were you a certain age where you can say, I remember music at this age, and there was something inside you, and some of those moments, carry us through those.
Gosh, man. My grandparents, man, are always telling me how insane my music is. And my mom, Uncle Chris in the back, and Bobby Caldwell is on the radio, man. And the first thing I can remembering is with out. And I could have been maybe 1.5, 2, 3, from then, man, it's with my dad. It's Steely Dan. To be honest, it's Steely Dan, but it's also Biggie. You figure it's 1994. I can remember riding down Hollywood, with my dad to Capitol Records, and he's playing Biggie, and that's my first introduction to hip hop. Because my mom really wasn't letting us listen to any of that. So imagine growing up and going from Michael McDonald and MJ and all that old Motown stuff. Because I'm with Uncle Chris and Uncle Vic, and then with my dad, man, I was getting pretty much everything else. That was Gino Fidelli, that's Michael Franks, that's even then Biggie, and then with my mom, I was getting Tupac, I was getting, so it's crazy how much I feel like I was really thrusted into not just music, man, but really having an ear for all types. Because even like I said, at the point when you came into my life, man, honestly, at 11 or 9 to 11, you really, I don't think, really understand how you yourself infused me with so much music, man.
I love it, man.
That CD case you have, bro, that I have it.
Yeah.
Mom has it in the cedar chest. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking Phil Collins. I'm talking DJ Magic Mike. I'm talking all of those things, man, are what have turned me into this machine. Because it's like, there's no way I can't go. So then imagine being in North Carolina. I'm 16 now. You bring me my studio. You know what I mean? And then that Christmas, my dad sent me Pro Tools and a G5. And it was then that I really, really was like, I'm on. In my bedroom at my mom's first apartment out there is where I really cultivated how to record. How to chop, cut, and paste. All the things that I'm now able to make money from, man. So you putting my stuff in the U-Haul and bringing that to me, man, all that, I'm like, again, are moments for me that were like, this is what you're supposed to do. To then my sophomore year in high school, man, I'm going through the motions. My parents are getting divorced. I don't know what I want to do. I'm now starting to play ball, so I've got that duality going, like, what am I going to do? And it wasn't, I'm failing, I'm getting in trouble, and the only thing that got me on the narrow path was when my mom told me to cut my studio off. And I spent 3 nights, man, looking at my PC, looking at my screen, looking at my computer, just sitting there, unplugged, like it was going to be literally taken away. And I remember that's even when my mom and I finally had a heart-to-heart, and we began to, start to bond. Because I was still wild, 16, 14, 16, tripping. But it was music, man, that gave me at least something that kept me from really, really tripping. I really could have been wilding out if I wasn't obsessed with coming home after hooping and making music all night. So from there, man, I through my high school years, I cultivated being a songwriter. I never went to class. I spent my entire high school period writing songs. I would skip and would write songs all day. That in the park, at cafes, wherever I was. So then when I got home, I could bring them to life. So imagine that's all I did, man, for legitimately 3.5, 4 years straight. My schedule was something like sleep till 4, go hoop from 5 to 10. I made music all night because I homeschooled. I homeschooled. You know what I mean? After I gotten kicked out of school pretty much, and my mom was like, "Listen, you gotta do something." And that was really the wrong thing to do because it was on my computer. You know what I mean? It was college based, and I couldn't move on unless I finished. So I spent 6 months just finishing everything. You know what I mean? And really like engaging in it. And graduated, and all I had to do, man, was play basketball and make music. So I spent my teen years really, fortunately, almost unbelievably so, able to cultivate my talent. To then move into LA, man, not making music for a year, finally convincing myself to go buy some equipment. I bought Logic, and that was a beginning of an entirely different journey, which was my next 10 years, man, between touring with my dad and then trying to find my own sound at home. You know what I mean? And then obviously getting thrusted into the business side and going through all of that. So imagine, man, I feel like since then, you figure it's been I'm 30 now, so I moved back at 18, almost 20 years, man. I've been here in LA. Well, 15, at least 15 years I've been in LA now, making music and also industry-wise really trying to make music and really going through that, man. Thankfully too now, because to be an independent artist with a label and starting up, you know what I mean, with no one to really tell me what I can or cannot do, and
That's
knowing
right.
I've got a vault of ammo that is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Now for me, it's like this is the easy part, you know, I'm so thankful. Every time I write a new song, get a new melody, I'm still like, thank you God, because
Mm.
wow, you know what I mean. And then now for me, it's everything else, man. How can I best share this with people? So that's really my musical journey in a nutshell, man. Honestly, and then just
So
pivotal
you
home.
had this toddler, and then this preteen, and then this teenager, and then this young 20s, 30s guys. Like these decades, they just keep hitting you when you
Yeah.
think maybe I got to do this or maybe I got to do that. Something just like
Yeah.
majorly gets thrown in your path, and it
Yo,
yeah.
forces me back to this, you know, back to the basics, back to just, you know, writing a song, man. Back to just writing a song. Everything begins with the song.
Yeah,
You
man.
know? It's like, come on. And they come to me so often. It's like
Mm.
it almost feels like a sin. You know, it's the best way I can put it in terms for people to understand. Like
Mm.
if I by chance think I've forgotten the melody, I get such a chill. Oh my God, I get
Yeah.
it's scarier than any movie, than any scene I've been in personally hasn't scared
Right.
me as much as me thinking, where did that go? Did I miss out on that? Because I know that whoever these guys are who are guiding me, which I believe are the greats, man, like I've been
Mm.
told, you know, through
Mm.
guys and mediums, you know, it's like I would literally be damned to take it for granted. So
Yeah.
I try my best, man, to at the very least put aside time, even those times I feel like I'm not inspired, to crank them out. And I've got so many songs on deck. I feel like
Wow.
in thinking of my future self to be like, all right, man, let's go to the list. Let's just pull another one out and feel that again. And it
Mm.
just keeps going, keeps going. You know?
That's a cool story. You know, you've got fans, and you've got people that have never heard your music, and some people that are just now hearing your music. What advice would you give them if let's say, you know, you're Bobby Caldwell right now, and you're your past self, and you're getting a chance to talk to him? What would you tell those folks that are like, man,
Man,
I want to do this?
honestly, man, I would don't give up. Let nothing stop you, and be relentless in your practice. Because if the more you practice, the better your outcome is going to be, no matter what it is, no matter what your art is. If you wake up every day with the love to practice that and infuse your passion into whatever it is, chances are you're going to be happy, and that's all that matters, man. I can tell you all day about the fame and the glory of it all, but at the end of the day, especially with what's going on in the world, it's like, do what makes you happy, and if that just happens to be music,
Mm.
then I would also say learn the business, man, and don't let anybody take you for granted, and know your worth. Not to go into anything being pretentious and like you know it all, but never let anyone make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to your art.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
constructive criticism, of course, but know if it feels good to you and your soul, go with your gut and it'll reach who you would like it to reach, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I know, man. Well, cool. Well, we keep this short, man. So thanks for joining us. You know, peace and love, and
Hey,
keep
man.
doing what you're doing, man. Can't wait to hear some new stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We still got to do stuff together, man. They don't know. I still believe we could be one of the greatest duos of all time, man.
Time will come, man. I've got to figure out more of this, like recording and then sending it to people, and then they're actually making music. So
Well, that's actually a great segue, man, and I would love to introduce you to about it. Almost 3 years ago, man, a friend of mine introduced me to a company called SoundBetter.com. Imagine MySpace, Facebook, whatever, but for musicians, for singer-songwriters, for mixing and masters, and it's pretty much freelancers, man. So my profile, because I can offer so much, I top line for you, I sing demos for you. If you're a producer that can't necessarily sing or a songwriter that can't necessarily sing, you can reach out to me. You can set your own prices, and that in itself, man, will get you so savvy with just recording yourself, with sending files out in a practice. So just to lean back into that practice thing, finding even those kinds of things, man. For even someone like you, man, with genius level, you retain stuff like this. I think you could be, even as a drummer, people would be.
Everyone needs a beat, right? Everyone needs a beat.
Everyone, man, and then even you yourself can speak out. It's such a great tool to see who's working on what and how they're getting it done as well. So, and always reach out to me, man, because that's literally all I do now. You know, as a tool just to keep me sharp, it keeps me writing, it keeps me constantly editing, and it keeps me savvy with the digital when it comes to how people are sending files and the best way to do it. So, another way I can definitely help you with that too, man. So,
y'all heard it here, folks. Expect some music from this too someday.
Soon. Sooner than soon.
Right on. Well, peace, brother. Thanks, man. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you, man. Definitely.
Have a good night.
With you, man.
Right on.